Hey guys, it's another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Redcap Fred Durst, but we're starting off kind of on a low note today. Oh, I want to do a shout out, if you guys don't mind, for a second, to one of my friends. Going through a hard time. I don't think she'd mind if I just say her name, because it's not like you guys are going to be able to know who it is. There's so many in the world. Sarah, hopefully everything gets better for you soon, and you make it through your hard time. We're all here on Off the Post and looking out for you. Other than that, guys, it's another episode of Off Post. We've went through a nice week of a lot of football. We had the NWSL action. Got to watch Colombia versus US Women's National Team. A couple of penalty kicks. One was made, one was missed. We'll talk about that probably a little bit. And we got to watch a rain out. If I want to know who actually on this panel, raise your hand if you sat for 5 hours and waited for that Chicago Red Stars game to start. Oh, Jen, and she's gonna tell us what happened because you got a couple cool stories from that, don't you?
Oh my god. Cool is one way of putting it.
No, I lied. All right, guys, let's go and see our panel again because you know some of these people because they're gonna be like regular faces on here as usual. Aurelio, what have you been up to lately?
Not much, man. Just the same.
Same old, nothing new with you?
Yeah.
I don't hear your dog barking, so that's a good thing.
He's sleeping for now.
Jen, what have you been up to lately?
A lot of the same. Just driving to Chicago, sitting in a rain delay. Yeah.
Sorry about that. It sounded like it was a fun trip how you were talking it up to me, and then it was like, yeah, just relax. But then you get to meet some nice people?
Yeah, there's always cool people. We hung out with Megan Oyster's family for a little while, so that was really cool. They were awesome. They invited us to tailgate with them, so they were really cool.
Oh, sweet. Jackie, what have you been up to lately?
I mean, not much, just hanging out with you guys, writing, good stuff.
All right, cool. That's funny. My one friend is just like, I'm getting an error message. I guess I will have to resend the show once we get it back into it. And Courtney, please say not much. Say you've been up to a lot lately.
Oh, not a lot. I mean, kind of a lot. I've been up to Ottawa a couple times for a couple of the World Cup matches, which has been really awesome. So, yeah. So that's been exciting. The exciting part of my life, I guess, for the last week or so, a couple weeks.
You say you've been up to Ottawa a couple of times. You make this sound so casual.
Well, it's not that. I mean, I can go there and back in a day. It's not that far, so.
So obviously, no one on this panel likes you right now. Okay.
I mean,
no, it's all good. Once again, guys, if you want to send us any questions on on Twitter or Tumblr, you can send them on Tumblr to our Tumblr. Please, if you're anonymous, don't be one of the panelists, because if you are, we're going to know who you are, and we will find you. If you're on Twitter, just use the hashtag WoSoTalk, and we'll get to your questions. We'll answer it on air. Yeah, we're calling people out today. So let's jump into some. Let's jump to some NWSL. It's so bad because it's an inside joke. All right, guys. Let's talk about the Portland versus FC Kansas City game. We'll start with you, Aurelio, because this was a game actually that had a lot of excitement. Aurelio, well, I guess I'll say one exciting moment maybe. How about that? Aurelio, what did you think of the Portland versus FC Kansas City game?
I think the game, at least in the first half, it was stuck in the midfield. The fans were doing their job, stopping play, not many chances. I think the best chance was Hagen, and she hit off the post. Second half, teams came back, attacking more, creating more chances. More interesting game to watch.
All right. I mean, like I said, the first half, Hagen did actually. It's good to actually see Hagen actually get some service a little bit more. Jen, what did you think of the game, or were you even able to watch a lot of it, or did you catch it on a replay?
I caught it on the replay. I was driving to Chicago at the time of, well, I was driving to or from Chicago at the time of every single NWSL game except Houston, at which point they played during our rain out, so it gave me something to do. But yeah, I caught it on the replay. Kind of like Aurelio said, I didn't see a whole lot in the first half. It was kind of disappointing. Second half, both of them came out. And obviously, I mean, the big talking point here is going to be that Michelle Vito's goal, which I don't know if that was luck or I think Portland definitely got lucky with that one. But hey, it's always fun when a keeper scores a goal. So.
Yeah, I even remember when I saw it, I was just like, I've never seen the keeper in my natural life just get as sweet of a goal as it was to that diving header. I've never seen the keepers usually score when they come up like that. So it was great to actually see it once in my life, so I can die a happy man. Jack, what did you think of the game?
Well, I thought, the second half was very entertaining. It was nice to see Hagen get a goal. She works extremely hard, so I think she deserved it. As far as Portland, it was very, very physical match, and the whole Zerboni stepping on the rookie groom was pretty unfortunate, but I was surprised that Casey couldn't capitalize on the man advantage. But Vados, that was awesome. So I think they were lucky to tie, but it was pretty entertaining last half.
And Courtney, what did you think actually of that step? Because that was a major point to me, how she McCall just took a step on her. Nice little stomp.
That made me really sad, actually, just because, McCall Zerboni had been, up until this year, like a staple of the Western New York Flash. And has always been kind of a physical player, but never really someone who I thought would kind of be in that situation. And just disappointing. And, we haven't really heard yet if there's going to be any kind of further disciplinary action. I would assume there would be, but, it looked, some people, I know she initially commented that it wasn't intentional and kind of had deleted those messages that had been published based on that, but it's just unfortunate. Like, I don't really think it's necessary, and I think, not saying anyone ever deserves it, and I think the other side of that is that Shea Groom has also been extremely physical, excessively so this season so far, and I think it's only a matter of time until she finds herself sitting on yellow card accumulation. But yeah, just definitely unnecessary, uncalled for, and really disappointing to see from someone like McCall Zerboni, who honestly I think is, and most people probably agree, is better than that kind of tactic, but just that kind of behavior, I guess. But for the match overall, it was really good to see. You kind of mentioned it, Sarah Hagen getting some good service, and just to see, she's been involved a lot in FC Casey's, play, but hasn't really had too many chances, to get on the score sheet and things like that. So it was nice to see her do so during this game. And then, just want to point out, obviously we talked about Michelle Beto's amazing goal, which was just crazy, but she did really well, on actually, her main purpose of goalkeeping. Did really great, I think, on that end as well. Made a couple of really good saves. Got knocked around a lot, too, and the fact that she just kept performing really well was really awesome. And so definitely deserving of those Player of the Week, props that she got this week.
One major point I picked up from the game, it's Amy Lepelwit's play. She's been amazing this season. It's so good to see her back after all those surgeries and playing healthy. She's been one of the top center backs, if not the top center back this season in NWSL. It was great to see her out there performing well. I'm also interested. It looks like Ayo for Portland, she's getting more comfortable in her role up top. It would be nice to see more people coming up with her and helping her in attack. But playing up top alone, she looks good, taking on people and stuff. There hasn't been a lot of end product, but she's looking like she's become more comfortable in the NWSL. So she's probably going to be a player to continue to watch this year, and maybe even next year she'll become more of an impact player. Especially with the Olympics. So she'll probably get more of an opportunity once again. All right, well, we have CRS versus Spirit game because we all watched that game. We'll just have Jen Carl tell us what happened. What happened with you while you were sitting in the rain waiting for that game to start?
Oh my God! All right. We had, I think it was almost a 4-hour weather delay. We had started it, and then they called it, and there's no curfew over there. They play at Benedictine University in Chicago. They don't have a curfew. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just wait it out for a little bit, see what happens. 4 hours later, they ended up going back on. It was 11:20 their time-ish, give or take. Played for maybe another 10 minutes. They needed like 6 minutes for it to be a completed game. Spirit were up with nothing, and they called it. So they're going to reschedule that. And hopefully we will not have the same... This happens every year, though. Every year, the Spirit and Chicago, for some reason, like they can't play a game. It's always rained out. It's always the apocalypse occurring outside on the field. But the good thing is, this ended the best possible way it could for Graham and I to still maintain a friendship. So hey, it worked out.
Yes, if you guys don't know, we have Graham, our other panelist. He hates her right now because they are both battling for first place. I wouldn't know about that being a Sky Blue fan. So let's move on, guys. Alright, well, we can talk about the Dash versus the Western New York Flash. We will let you. Well, now we have two more people that can be enemies. Yes, I'm turning all of you against each other. Rulio, what did you think of the Dash's performance against the Flash?
I think the Dash started the game dominating, creating more chances, putting on some pressure. They could have scored more in the first half. Western New York tried to do something at the end. I'm happy they didn't. And McDonald's was on fire, her fifth goal of the season, I think. The second half, Western New York came back better, trying to get some chances till that Ohio goal that calmed things a little bit. That was it, and that run from Kelly Ohio at the end, that was amazing. Too bad she didn't score.
And Courtney, what did you think of the Flash?
Honestly, I feel like this World Cup break couldn't have come at a worse time for the Flash because the last two games before the break, they had beat the Spirit. They had beat Chicago. So they beat the two of the top teams in the league. They actually, had broken Chicago's undefeated streak. And they have all this momentum, 2 wins, winning streak, scoring goals, and then they're off for 2 weeks. And I don't know if it's just, because it was their first game back. I'm not really sure. But they were just overall very disjointed and didn't have a lot of chemistry. Couldn't really make it happen, which is kind of, I guess, weird because normally the Flash's issue is that they have a lot of chances but can't convert them and can't actually just put the ball in the net. But they didn't even really have that many solid opportunities at all. So kind of disappointing for them. I will say, the highlight being there, Chantel Jones got the start against Chicago. And made the best of it and was awesome and, got rewarded in getting the start again in Houston. And, despite the fact that they lost, she did give up a couple goals. I think she performed really well overall. So that's good to see at least if you can have one highlight of a match like that, I guess. But hopefully they can kind of pick themselves off. They're going to Boston on Sunday. So hopefully they can pick themselves off and kind of get back and getting some points again.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it wasn't one of their best performances at all. Usually the Flash, it seems like no matter who they're playing, they still take it to a team for the most part. It's something about it was like they were lacking in energy and stuff. They weren't really as controlling or as frightening as they usually are. It was a lot of half chances they had this game. Oha's goal was pretty great, and she was taking on players all game. I wish she would have been in a U.S. Women's National Team jersey right now. And luckily for the Dash, it was a good victory because now they're just 2 points behind Chicago in the standings. So that was a great win for them to kickstart the rest of the NWSL season. All right, Jackie, I guess me and you are going to talk a bit about the Breakers and Reign before we jump into all the good stuff. What did you think of the Reign's game?
Well, honestly, I think it was a much-needed 3 points. It was our first 3 points on the road this year, which is hard to believe. But, having the tandem of Fishlock and Giannis and Little, when all 3 of them score, we're most likely going to win. So it was a good game to see. Credit to Boston, they put 2 goals, past Koppmeyer, which he's a great goalie. So I think that's encouraging for them. But, yeah, definitely a great win, and now we're close to the top of the standings. So it's good.
Oh, so everyone's going to keep mentioning what it feels like to be close to the top of the standings this episode. All right. Azarique was great in the second half for them. That was a really good substitution. She was taking on players, and she helped on that second chance from Marlboro. Mewis had a really solid game, too. It seemed like Seattle, every time they got the ball, they just passed to Kim Little, and it looks like a counterattack waiting to happen. So it just seemed that Seattle was going to win the game, but Boston was still, as always, tough at home. All right, guys. Well, that's really enough, I guess, of all that NWSL action. We'll talk about more as the season goes on, but we'll really get into it after the World Cup. Let's talk about the U.S. Women's National Team, shall we? Was that someone cheering or someone breathing hard?
I think it was breathing. I don't know that anyone was really cheering.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, guys. Let's jump into the group stages first. How are you feeling about the team after the group stages? We'll go with you first, Aurelio.
After the group stage, I was a little bit concerned by the way the team was performing, and actually a little bit scared too when they face the tough teams in the competition.
Jackie, how did you feel after group stages?
Yeah, I was a bit unsure of the team and kind of the direction we're going, but they haven't played that well. But our defense is a bright spot, so I'm kind of on the fence, really.
Jen?
Yeah, like Jackie said, I mean, our defense has definitely carried us through. I've said for weeks that our midfield is just lacking creativity. Now we're losing Pino and Holiday. So, I mean, after the group stages, I think it just re-emphasized that point a little bit more that we need more creativity up top and in the midfield. So I was definitely concerned moving forward.
And Courtney.
I guess I would say that I was cautiously optimistic, I guess. Obviously, if people mentioned there were things that I was concerned about that hadn't played that well, but I actually didn't mind, even though they only won 1-0. Like, I didn't mind the lineup against Nigeria, and I think that they played better in some aspects. So I think I had the mentality of, okay, like, we're out of group stages, like, that U.S. will get their crap together kind of thing because it's knockout stages now. I think I had that kind of tried to have that mentality, but in my head also was like, man, there's still a lot of things that need to be worked on. So yeah, I would say cautiously optimistic just because I was hoping that they would pull it together, knowing that, it's either win or go home at this point. But also knowing that, it's not gonna magically be 100% better overnight.
Yeah, that was one thing for me. Watching the group stages, the team's defense was absolutely amazing. I think we all can agree on that. But the attack left a lot to be desired. As I constantly been saying on every episode, and just to fans in general when I talk to them on Twitter or Facebook, we knew that we've seen these issues going into the World Cup. They were there before. They've been there the whole time. And now they're just more people are seeing it, and it's more of a spotlight on them because we have announcers chiming in from everywhere. So the group stages was what I expected for the most part. It's a team that the attack is bad. We scrape by and get a goal, or in Sweden game, okay, we get no goal, and then we just get enough to get by. And we've been just scraping by, it seems like. But the defense has been just absolutely amazing. That's been the best bright spot. So the group stages was what I expected out of it. I guess I didn't expect much, and that's the truth. Now, what were your expectations going into this first game, Courtney? What were you looking forward to?
Well, I definitely didn't think it was going to be a blowout because Colombia has been much improved since we've last played them, and even have shown throughout this tournament. Even though they did get lucky with some officiating help, I think, from some of the group stage matches, they have been much improved. So I wasn't expecting the U.S. to blow them out, but I was somewhat surprised with how much of an effect Colombia had on the U.S., especially in the first half. I was a little bit surprised that they were moving the ball so well, that they were actually utilizing their speed. And our defense has still been amazing, but it almost seems like they were kind of caught off guard a little bit just by how quick Colombia was. So I knew it was going to be a challenging game, but I think even Colombia gave a little bit more of a challenge than I thought they probably would. But I guess those were kind of my overall expectations. That wasn't going to be a cakewalk, but I'm kind of surprised that they, kind of struggled as much as they did, especially in the first half against Colombia.
All right. Oh, and I just want to say this real quick. I actually see the viewer count the highest it's ever been in life of this show. If you want to send us any questions, use the hashtag WoSoTalk, or you can send them to the Facebook, and we will answer your questions. I saw 12 live viewers. This is unreal. Jackie, what were your expectations going into this game?
Yeah, I thought we would start strong, attack the back line, and test their young goalkeeper. And honestly, I was kind of surprised that Colombia started Perez, because I know Castano is the more athletic, older, more experienced keeper in my experience playing against her. But Perez, she showed up pretty well. So, yeah, Colombia came out strong, and it was kind of unsettling for a while. And the first half was a disaster, but we hung on.
You dropped something cool there. You played against her. Explain.
Yeah, 2 years ago, when I was in college, we played against her, and she was the starting keeper, and we beat her team 2-0, and they were ranked 15th in the country, and they were supposed to blow us out, but they didn't. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
She makes that story so chill. Oh yeah, just beat a top keeper of a top team. Nothing to it.
No worries.
Right, no worries at all. Jen, what did you think your expectations going into that game?
Yeah, I kind of got to echo the others on this one. I as Courtney said earlier, coming out of group stages, I was kind of hoping they would get their crap together. that'll teach me to expect that. But I can't say I was super surprised. I really can't. I can't say that I was shocked by anything that happened during the game. So my expectations were pretty accurate, I think.
And I remember Rulio talked to you about the Nigeria game. Now, what were you telling me about how they came in the Nigeria game? You were expecting a blowout, and it really didn't happen, so your expectations changed completely?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing I'm expecting for this China game, and I was expecting for the Colombia game. Should be an easy game, but the way the team is playing, you never know what will happen in the game, so you can be sure.
I was really, when I went into it, to be honest with you guys, to be honest with you viewers and everyone, it could have been a scare for the U.S. I thought this was going to be the game that make them wake up and say, okay, now we need to really pull together. Maybe that Colombia goes up 1 goal, but we come back and beat them 2-1 or 3-1. The 1 goal against Nigeria just proved more of the same. The team just cannot find a way to score goals, and they'll struggle up front with just how their attack is. When a play, and sometimes, and to be honest with you, we looked worse when a player went down against Nigeria. The Colombia team looked pretty good in groups, even though they were the third in their group. But I thought, like, with us, it does with best teams, like, you struggle to score goals. So I thought it was going to be a rough game. Starting lineups, I guess I'll go first to this. When I looked at the starting lineup, I actually liked it. Defense is untouched. Actual true players, flank players that'll play with width and stay out there. Even though I know they like to have them cut in a lot and let Krieger and Kling come up a lot. But I actually like the starting lineup. Abby and Alex actually getting some chemistry up top. Players in their right positions. It's something we're shocked at as U.S. Women's National Team fans, but we're starting to come back to getting used to that. Players in their right positions. So it looked like a good lineup, and I was hoping the best from it. We will go with you, Jackie. What did you think of the lineup?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. It was the same as last game, so I assume Morgan and Wambach would have, clear chemistry. And Morgan, I thought, played really well. I was glad to see her out there. Tobin in that role, I think she played okay, but once again, a broken record. I'd like to see Heyo, but other than that, good.
We're singing the same song there. Jen, what did you think of Tobin being out there, since you are one of the biggest Tobin fans I know?
Yeah. I'm always happy when Tobin gets to start because she finally, somehow, I don't know what she did, she got out of the doghouse. So I'm always happy when she gets to start. I think when she's on point, she's on point. She goes out there as one of the most creative players we have. She's a flank player, so her service to the inside is normally spot on. But again, she has to be on point, and consistency is an issue with Tobin Heath. But I think a lot of that is because she just doesn't get the playing time. She doesn't get the minutes to develop that consistency. So, I was happy she got the start. Like Jackie said, I think she played okay. If I remember correctly, she was playing on the flank with Ali Krieger, and for me that was a little bit weird. Normally, I like to see her playing the flank with Megan Klingenberg on the other side. Her and Kling, seem to have a little bit more chemistry going up that side of the flank. So that piece of it was a little bit weird for me. We might see that next game against China now that Pino won't be out on that flank. But yeah, I always enjoy Tobin Heath starting. So.
Courtney, did you like the Alex-Abby combination being back up top?
I actually would have liked to see Abby not start. That might be unpopular opinion for once, but I don't know. I just, yes, she scored against Nigeria, but I still don't overly think she's been playing well, and I don't really think she played well. I mean, penalty aside, I don't think she played well really anyways, and then that was a whole nother thing. That's a thing that I'm sure we'll talk about, but I would have liked to see someone else up there with Alex. I get why Wambach started. I get why the lineup remained unchanged because it was, obviously effective enough to get the win against Nigeria, but I would have liked to see someone else up there, press maybe. And then Tobin Heath, I guess I'm going to agree and disagree with things with Tobin Heath, I guess, because while I do like her out there over putting Kristen Press out there, I'm going to echo what's been said that I would like to see O'Reilly out there just because I wasn't overly impressed. Kind of like Jen said, Tobin is inconsistent sometimes, and I wasn't really super impressed with her against Nigeria. She got the job done. but I wasn't impressed with this game either. And to go off what Jen said, I think it's because I do agree. I don't think she plays well. With Ali Krieger, it would have been much better if you're going to start Tobin Heath to put her on the side of Megan Klingenberg. But I mean, again, not too many issues with the lineup. Those are just two things I would have changed. I would have not started Wambach and would have put O'Reilly out there. But it's been much better than some of the lineups we've seen in the past, so I'll take it.
Oh yeah, don't even get started with some of those past lineups. Let's jump into the first half. Aurelio, what were your thoughts on the first half? High points, low points.
USA had more possession, had better chances, but it was nice to see Colombia showing up too. I mean, I thought they would be afraid of the United States, and they didn't. It was really nice. They actually get some scary moments in the game. And Catalina Perez, I think she was the best player of the first half, in my opinion. Too bad she got the red card.
Yeah, that was rough, that red card. We'll talk about that second half, but that changed the whole game completely. Jackie, what were your thoughts on the team in the first half?
Well, I thought Morgan had good movements when she did get the ball. I think her and Pino worked pretty well. But one note on the Krieger and the Tobin combination, I think she was out there because Lady Andrade was on their side. And she's pretty tricky, so I think that's why she's out there. But yeah, Colombia came out strong, and we held them pretty strong. And I don't know. I think when Holiday got that card, that really put us in a rough spot because then she really couldn't be aggressive, and she's already not that aggressive defensively anyway. And I think some of the soft calls were unfortunate, and then Pino, got her card. Yeah, definitely half to forget for me.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. For me, there was just a few points where you were talking about that. It seemed like the first thing I put in my notes when I was watching the game was long balls. So direct. It was just like, oh, it killed me. We did have some good chances early on, though. The Heath shot, Abby's, I think Abby had a shot and then a clean cross. The defense, and we were sitting back so much, though, in that game. It was like, really, we should be pressuring this Colombia team. They're a weaker opponent. Courtney, what did you think of the first half?
Yeah, to kind of like piggyback off what you just said, I almost don't think that they respected them enough in the first half, Colombia, because they sat so far back that I really think that I don't know if they just weren't concerned about the Colombia attack or what, but that was really a little bit surprising, and I think hurt them a little bit, and gave Colombia the opportunity to potentially make something happen there, but. Other than that, kind of it's already been said, so many poor long ball attempts, so many giveaways in the first half. And like I kind of mentioned before, even the defense was still amazing, don't get me wrong, but they played so far back and seemed to kind of get caught off guard sometimes by the Colombia offense. So obviously, it's been said, not a great half at all, but I would give props to Colombia there because I think they took advantage of it and were very quick, and I think the U.S. looked sluggish at times, and I think that they did well to try to take advantage of that. But yeah, I think we all like to just forget that half ever happened and move on in soccer world, I guess, because that was just awful.
Yeah, it was ugly football, in my opinion. Jackie, you're a Lady A fan. What did you think of her? Since you bragged about her last time, I think.
No, I mean, I think she did really well. I mean, Krieger and Tobin had a challenge all game, and it was kind of a battle of who could be more creative and who could contain each other, but it was fun to watch. But in the second half she was kind of irrelevant, kind of like Marta in Brazil's last game. So
yeah, Jackie's obviously not American. Moving on, Miss Jennifer. Just messing with you. Jennifer, what did you think of the first half, and then we can jump into the second half real quick.
That sums up how I feel about the first half right there. Yeah. No, I was actually out with friends watching the game, and I was heated. I was in the moment, so I watched it again today, thinking, all right, I was out. I had beer. Maybe I didn't see it correctly. No, it was really that bad. Like I rewatched it, and it was really legitimately that bad. So. I mean, it was rough. Our defense played well. but even so, they couldn't push forward. And normally we rely a lot on the midfield and the defense to push the line forward, and they couldn't for whatever reason. So we did sit very far back, and we weren't pressuring them nearly at all. We had, like you said, a couple of good chances. Tobin had a good shot. Alex Morgan had a couple of balls that were threatening, but other than that, I mean, it was a brutal first half.
I remember I kept saying the whole time, keep the ball on the ground. You're supposed to be the better team. Pass around this team. France, Germany, watched them the whole time passing around these lesser opponents. We're used to be able to do that. Now it's just like JJ get that ball and you're like, boom, let's see where it goes. Which defender on the other team will get to it first? And then when it does make it to one of our people, we're like, all right, let's see what we do. Nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Even and this is something that happened to me now. When we're about to head into the second half. So during the halftime, I sent out a tweet. I don't know how many of you saw this tweet. And I said, "Oh, this looks like a team we could possibly lose. A game we could possibly." Well, that must have been the wrong tweet to send out because I had a bunch of 16-year-olds messaging me. No, shut up, no. I was like, wait a moment, are you watching the same game as me? Well, chances. I said all it takes is some scrappy counterattack, and your team is down 1-0. And it says not like we're about to go out there and score about 4 or 5 goals real quick. So that was something where I was just shocked at, where it's like you can see the gap in how some fans are. I don't even call it patriotism. It's called just sometimes you're just not looking at the game for what it is and what's happening out there. So it was really weird. But then I stayed quiet on Twitter, and I was like, all right then. The team's going to win since I picked them on my Toga app anyway. So let's move on to the second half anyway. Courtney, what did you think of the second half? Was it any better? Did you like the substitutions?
I do think it was I do think the second half was obviously much better. It was a bizarre second half, and I'm just gonna put all thoughts about the second half and subs into one little mini, not really mini, but one thing, so I don't have to talk again about it. But I do think that they pressured more, they utilized their speed. I think, leading into that, red card for the Colombian goalkeeper and all that, I think, Alex Morgan obviously had a breakaway, and that's, I've been waiting for that from her. I've been waiting to see someone play a ball to her that could just let her run at the goal. So that was really great to see. Was it a red card? Yeah, yes. Was it a penalty? I think she was outside the box, but not that really matters. But a lot of people will say that Wambach missing that penalty was poetic justice because it probably shouldn't have been one anyways. But and then I just want to say, why is Abby Wambach taking penalties? Just because she hasn't really been great at doing them. And I just think, and I'm not trying to hate on Wambach, but I just think in the World Cup you have a cold. That was their, technically, at the moment, at least, their third-string goalkeeper who just comes off the bench and has to face a penalty, and you don't even put it on frame. That's crazy to me. So I'm glad that she didn't take the second one because that was just terrible. But, I mean, that's the truth. But, absolutely better second half. I think they were better through balls. They were more precise with their crosses. They were able to find Morgan there. I think overall, even their set pieces looked a lot better. Substitutes, I didn't really mind the first 2 subs. Morgan Ryan coming in kind of allowed Lauren Holiday to play up in more of an attacking role, which we all know. A lot of us have been wanting her to just play there.
Yeah.
So it allowed her to do that actually for a little while, and I think it was great. And then also, once Kristen Press came on, she got involved right away. There was some good play between her and Alex Morgan, even though they couldn't convert anything. And honestly, I would like to see more of that. I wouldn't mind, again, I said it before, but wouldn't mind seeing those 2 start together up top. But she's got that speed, too, and was kind of cutting through the midfield, cutting up, switching sides, really just making things happen. So I don't mind the first 2 subs. Lori Klepny for Ali Krieger. I mean, I'm not really sure why they felt the need to sub Krieger out, which is fine, but I don't like when they sub Klepny in for her because then they switch Klingenberg to the right side, which I think Klingenberg has been great overall, but is much more comfortable on the left side and does not play well really at all on the right side. So I'm not really sure why we make changes like that. And I'm still kind of unconvinced with Klepny as a left back. I think she still doesn't really have that speed. I know at one point she had slipped, but I know at one point a couple times, Sauerbrunn had to come over and help pick up, a Colombian attacker coming down the wing because Klubny just couldn't catch up to her. But between that and Klingenberg being on the right, not so great. But much better second half, obviously. Between Morgan finally getting a goal, Carly Lloyd's cool PK taking. Still things to work on, but it was definitely. I mean, anything would have been better than the first half, but second half was a lot more solid.
Yeah, for me, it was that final substitution with the Klubny. I was so confused with it. I'm like, please don't even touch that back line in games we're winning. I just want them to stay together and just play together as long as they can. You're already looking like she's going to play them to the end and wear them out. So don't even touch them. I didn't really understand it. I didn't know if they just wanted to get her some minutes in the game where they knew we had it locked up, or that's what I guess the case was, actually just get her some minutes. But if you're going to throw somebody in there to get some minutes, throw in a Hale, throw in a KO, someone that looks like they could really make a major impact and could really use those minutes to their advantage. Because I don't see Klubny being a player that's going to end up making a major impact on the World Cup for us. Jackie, what were your thoughts on the second half? My mistake.
Yeah, well, we still had some tricky fouls, some soft calls going on, but it did get better play-wise. I thought Krieger had a nice ball to Morgan, who I think it was nice of her to take that shot. No one else was going to score, so I think it was very nice of her to get that goal. And then obviously the two PKs. Ellis said they have a system on the bench. They have a 3-player system where it's Wambach, Carly, and then no one knows who the third person is to take a PK. So I guess we'll find out maybe later. I don't know.
I hope not.
Yeah. So I think it was great to see Morgan get comfortable on the ball and get a goal. And then, it was just better than the first half, but still a bit wild for me.
Yo, guys, I think we should have a contest. So we're going to try to guess who the third PK keeper is, and the winner can get this Alec Morgan jersey that's sitting right next to me that everyone seems to love lately. You'll win that. Because I bet you it's someone random. We know it's probably Sauerbrunn. It's probably Hope. And then they'll go up there.
I probably hope. I don't hope.
She'll go up there and we'll be like, what's happening? Oh, it's an Ellis move.
It's actually Brandy Chastain.
She'll come up there. I can see it. Seriously.
Yeah,
Jen, what were your thoughts on the subs, Jen?
Yeah, Chubbs was a weird one. Like everyone already said, putting in Klubny, that was kind of bizarre to me, especially for Krieger. Krieger is probably the one player I would say that had a fairly impressive game. So that was a weird one for me. I did understand putting Press in, and I'm gonna echo everybody on the planet in saying I think Heo probably should have been subbed in. Pino and Holiday both had yellow cards, so at that point it didn't really matter whether they kept playing or not. Not to sound like a jerk there, but at that point if we were gonna sub out Pino, sub in Heo. Sub in someone who could really make an impact in the game going into China, and get her the minutes. So I don't necessarily agree with the subs that could happen, but I'm not the coach, unfortunately.
And if you were, Tobin Heath would be starting every game.
Exactly.
Rulia.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Rulia, what were your thoughts on the red card? I remember talking to you about it. What did you think of it?
I think it was a fair red card and a fair PK. It was a shame though. Perez was playing well, a lot of good saves for Colombia, but it was fair, the red card and the PK.
So you like how the PK turned out?
Oh, I did. I love that.
Trolling on this show. How could you, Rulio?
Wow.
I'm being honest, I'm not trolling.
He's always trolling. Overall performance, guys. Courtney, don't troll. What was your overall performance?
I don't ever troll. What are you talking about? Overall, they got the job done. Overall, if you were to average the first and second half, it would be an average performance, I guess. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they do next game. I know we have a next opponent that we'll talk about, so I won't really get into it this second. But I think the fact that it was only 2-0 and one was a PK against a 10-player Colombia team is not great. And the fact that they still seem to have trouble. I mean, not trouble, but they didn't necessarily dominate, even though they were a player up. So that's still kind of concerning, I guess. But I mean, for now, you know, a win's a win. They did what they needed to do. And I guess that's good for now. You know, that's what matters. You got to win to move on. So they did. So obviously they're doing some things right. Some things are going their way. So yeah, I mean, not great, not horrible. Got the job done.
Yeah, to me it was just as you said, same as usual. We just get by, and that's that almost. Survive and advance, as they say in the NCAA when you're doing your brackets. Jackie, what is your thoughts overall performance?
Well, I mean, there's obviously some concerns in a few areas, but I think when we did get Morgan and Pino the ball, you know, good things happened. Defense showed up, and we escaped. So.
Yeah, it was a great escape as always. Jen, overall thoughts?
You know, to me, it kind of looks like this team just seems to be, you know, scraping by intentionally. Like, that's kind of what I keep hoping. I keep hoping that they're just like, oh, we're just going to, you know, shoot off these long balls because it doesn't take as much energy as all of this tactical passing. And we know we can beat this team, so we're just going to, you know, scoot on by and we'll bring out the big guns when it's necessary. And I keep hoping that that's actually what's happening, but I think that's all in my head. But
that would be nice. That would be great, though, if all of a sudden, like, they just started, like that, just got together and were just pass, offense, attacking. But yeah.
I know, right? Like China on Friday, just whip out the big guns. Let's go. We've played it safe long enough. All right, let's do this thing now. So, you know, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like they're just playing it safe, and you know, I do unfortunately think that that's unintentional. But I'd like to see them come out strong against China and finish strong. You know, our fitness has never been a problem. We're probably the most fit team in this World Cup as far as playing for a duration of 90 minutes. So I'd like to see them come out strong, finish strong, and just play the game the way we're used to seeing this U.S. team play the game.
I like how you guys still have a little bit of hope. That's nice, because mine is going down to, I think I'm at like about 10% right now.
That's because you're a Sky Blue fan, so you're used to it.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, so we got the banter going. Aurelio, you know what? You know what? I'm muting everybody. No, Aurelio, go for it. What are your thoughts on the overall game?
I think they did okay, maybe. Obviously, there's a lot to improve.
Yep.
I think that 4-4-2 formation is not getting the best out of the players. Maybe it's time to change it a little bit and show someone like Hale out there. And I don't know why Perez was on the bench. I mean, she has been one of the best players, and that didn't make any sense to me. But let's see what happens in the rest of the World Cup.
I can tell you what happens. No, I'm joking.
You can't say that on air.
I can't say it on air or else. It'll go down to 0 live views. Like I said, luck saved us as always. We seem to be a team scraping by the skin of our teeth. The team keeps advancing, but if you believe this style of play is going to keep getting us by, guys, you got another thing coming. It's obvious. This way of playing, it really is just seem like we're barely skinning by. And I know a lot of fans are still hoping like maybe we'll turn it around. But for a World Cup, you need the team. The best team usually wins a World Cup. We've seen it in every World Cup. We saw it with the men's last year. We saw it a couple years ago with the women's, and we saw it again with the men's last year. The best team wins the World Cup. And from what we've seen, we don't look like the best team. If this does win a World Cup, then maybe there's a new way of winning a World Cup. You're getting balls to bounce off of players, and then you're beating teams after their fitness dies, or beating teams 1-0 off of a corner and then just holding on even though the team looks better than you once they go a man down. If this wins, then, hey, this is a new style. Ellis needs to write a book on it. But the team playing against the top team, I think we're definitely going to struggle because we're going to lob it forward, and they're going to get the ball, and they're going to just hold possession, just pass around us. And we're going to be scrambling, or we might even sit back. You know, who knows with us some games. We'll probably sit back and let a team pass around us. So overall, the performance was all right. I think more so the second half we raised it all right because it was about to be a bad one. And we'll see what happens in this next game against China. Looking forward, we can start talking a little bit about China. I remember, Rulio, you said they were like Chelsea almost. They like to park the bus. What are your thoughts on China and how we'll attack them?
Well, USA always get lucky against them, but like I said earlier, you never know with this team what can happen. I'm impressed how China got here, beating Netherlands and a tie against New Zealand. I think I would say it should be an easy game, but I don't know. Maybe.
Gian, do you think it should be an easy game against China, or can we expect more of the same, scraping by?
No, I don't think it's going to be an easy game at all. You know, China's kind of always been a force for us. You know, a lot of people have been bringing up the fact that this is kind of like a rematch of the '99 World Cup Finals. Obviously, the teams are a heck of a lot different than they were in 1999. But China's always been one of those teams that we kind of look at as a thorn in our side a little bit. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be an easy game. I think they're going to challenge us, just because their defense is very stingy. You know, like you said, they like to park the bus, and our forwards haven't been able to move past a defense that doesn't park the bus, let alone one that does. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us, I think.
We'll go into actually the rosters for this game. I'm going to ask you this for a second, but we just got someone on Twitter sent me this, Danielle Spade. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. The team needs a 4-3-3 and press Morgan and LaRue in the same. Back four, press Morgan and LaRue. Same back four with Lloyd, Holiday, and Tobin in the midfield. Actually, we'll ask you about that, Jackie. What do you think about that if we win against China with that type of team, with press Morgan and LaRue up top?
Well, I think that's actually not bad because China are actually the slowest team we'll probably face so far. Shout out to Don Scott, our fitness coach. But yeah, China's pretty slow. So if we go with that, I mean, it's got to be better than what we're doing right now. So.
And Courtney, what do you think type of how should we attack China? To be honest, like lineups or players you think should be in for this one? Because that's going to be a big thing.
I actually agree with what's just been said. I think that that's the way to go, is to put those three up top. I think especially because having a 4-3-3, I think if this is the time to do it, if we're going to do it, this would be the time to do it, just because, like Jackie just said, I think that having that speed up top would be great to try to get behind, get in through China's defense, which is very tough. They don't necessarily give up a lot of goals. So, where our offense has been not getting the job done. Well, they've been getting the job done, but hasn't been super amazing. I think that might be the time to change it up, especially when you have Holiday and Rapinoe both out too. Like, I think that's why not? Because you have to definitely make some lineup changes because you don't have either one of them in the lineup. And if you still with the 4-4-2, who are you putting there? You're either going to free O'Reilly, which we know is probably not going to happen, or you're going to stick Kristen Press that over there for Rapinoe again, and that don't do that. So I actually think that would be ideal. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Fingers crossed. But I would. That would be what I would like to see, and I think that would be most effective. Again, if there was a team to do it against in this tournament, that I think this China is going to be it. Because I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a battle of defenses otherwise, because we know our defense is solid. And China's is too, so it's going to be that's going to be the battle that we're at, and it might only take one goal again to get through. So yeah, I would go with that actually. I like that idea a lot.
Danielle also says I'm from Rochester, and she says she's from Rochester, and she thinks that Abby should be a super sub. So it's coming from all fronts. People are just think Abby should be on the bench, and we should attack with a lot of our speed. She's done a lot, and the game changes, but we need speed, like as I just said, and prove we deserve to still be there. So I agree with you, Danielle. We definitely could use that speed up top to attack China. I think that would be a great lineup to go with. Knowing that Pino's going to be out, this would be a good game. I would love it if we even had Lloyd in the middle and like Hale on one side or Tobin on another side. Just one way or another, I feel like Hale should be able to find a way into a game like this with Holiday and Pino being out. But it seems like she's not going to, and they're going to plug Press in somewhere. Tobin's going to get plugged in somewhere. You might even see Morgan Bryant plugged in on one of the wings, and it's going to be a 4-4-2. So it's almost like we can guess what bad things are going to happen with this lineup, or where players are going to be where they shouldn't be. And that's a shame, really. Well, guys, so that's enough about China. Other games we could talk about, really, because I know we all watched all the games this week, right?
Yeah.
Well, mostly, almost all, pretty much, yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that. I've never had a panel that said they've watched games. We'll start Courtney. We'll start with you, Rulio. What other games did you watch this week, and which teams impressed you?
I think Germany impressed me. I mean, they look really, really strong. On the other hand, Sweden, they were a big disappointment. I expect much more from them. And Canada too, they impressing me. I think they can get further in this.
I agree with you. Sweden was an absolute disappointment. It seems like that team, I guess they came in, we expected more from a PS Sunhaga team, or just the fact that they had like some nice pieces, but they just appeared old, slow, and just, they look like it's time for them to start to revamp and bring in a lot of new players and young players. This is a shame because I feel like it's almost Lotta's last World Cup. She might come back as a sub, an old sub in the next World Cup. I felt like she wasn't getting any serves at all. And a little time she did see the ball, it was like it was out wide or just not in good enough positions to actually take shots. I don't even think she really took those many shots this World Cup, if any, maybe one or two.
Yeah, so, I think 0.
0? Oh, that's so disappointing, to be honest. That actually hurts my feeling to hear that. Jen, what teams look good to you this in the knockout rounds?
I love France. I do. You know, Les Sommer has just been consistently impressive to me. So I actually, on my Toga app, I picked France to upset Germany in the next round. I've been super impressed with them from the beginning, even when they looked like crap against England. So France is big for me. Like Aurelio said, Canada was pretty impressive. And then there was the Australia upset, Australia upsetting Brazil. That was a big game for me too, also because I picked them on my Toga app. But regardless, you know, I think, like you said earlier, the best team is going to win this World Cup, and we're starting to really see the best teams moving forward now. You know, coming out of the group stages, we had 4 of the 6 third-place teams come out, and the luck's over now. Now it's down to the wire, and the best teams are moving forward. So I think we're going to start to see a lot more impressive games coming up.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some top-quality games. I agree with you on that Aussie game. That was pretty cool to watch them beat Brazil and then see Marta and them get swept away. Since it seems like a lot of Americans hate Brazil. I really don't mind Brazil. I mean, I like seeing Marta because I don't like watching a player play. Also, the Canada game was a really good one. But France, yes, France, I need you to keep advancing. The bets are in by me. And you guys had a pretty good betting, you know, it was a nice 8-1 at the start of the World Cup. So I need you to go as far as possible because you're going to put a lot of money in my pocket. Jackie, what teams impressed you?
For me, it was the Switzerland-Canada game. You know, it was a fantastic atmosphere. Bachmann, you know, she worked so hard, but I think the Swiss are like 1 or 2 players away from having a really good team.
Yeah.
And then also England-Norway. I was obviously thrilled that England managed to come back and win. I think I'm the only American that wasn't rooting for Norway, so
No, I was
No,
rooting
I
for
wasn't.
you.
I would never root against England.
I guess I missed that bandwagon, but yeah, I'm a massive England fan, so I was happy for bronze to get the ball.
Yeah, for England, basically, that's my second home. I'm basically English, and I don't even know it yet. Yeah, there's no way I was rooting against them against Norway. I was so happy, and I know that so many bandwagon people, after that first, okay, I'm going on my little rant. After that first Norway game, you all were talking about Norway's going to win it all. Norway's the team, the hot team that you like, and it's the team that they told you on ESPN to get behind. No, my friends. You got bronzed, and you got what you deserved. Courtney, what teams impressed you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing what everyone else said. I was also a mix of Germany being really good, but I was also disappointed with how bad Sweden really was. And I mean, that was maybe like a harsh word to use, but I just, even though they didn't have a great group stage at all, I thought, okay, they'll be one of those teams where like once we get to the knockout stages, they'll get it together and they'll make it happen. And I don't know that I thought they were going to beat Germany ever, but I thought it would be closer than it was, yes. And so I was very disappointed that it was not so close. And then to kind of echo what everyone else said, I was so excited for Australia. Like, I think I don't know if it's because a lot of them have played for NWSL and are currently attached to NWSL teams and have kind of got to not necessarily know them, but we've got to see them play more than I think other teams perhaps. And so I think I just was so excited because they are a really young team, but they've just been able to pull it together. And Kaya Simon has been amazing and coming in clutch for them, and then Lydia Williams came in clutch, for that save on Formiga the other day. So I'm excited to watch them play. I think that they're riding the momentum, hugely, and we'll have to see what happens moving forward. But I am pulling for them a lot. And then I'll just hold on Canada, Switzerland also. I do think that was the first game that I was really like, okay, Canada, well done. I'm still not entirely convinced that I'm still a little bit surprised that they've made it as far as they have because they really haven't been impressive overall. And I was really shocked at some of the lineup changes Herdman made, but I will say that they definitely paid off. And so and everyone kept saying he was either going to be the zero or the hero with those lineup changes, and they really came through for him. And I gave a lot of credit to Erin McLeod, too, on Canada's success against Switzerland because she came with a lot of really clutch saves. Was overall really fantastic in goal. So it'll be interesting to see their next matchup. They're playing England, so I'm certainly rooting for England. But very happy to see them also. I think England's a team that's gotten better throughout the group stage and throughout the tournament. I think they started off kind of rough, but have improved significantly throughout the tournament. So that's going to be a really good match. Like you guys said, they're all going to be really good matches from here on out. I'm very excited to see them all. But yeah, I think we've seen some good matches, and it'll be good to see going forward kind of who. And it's sad that Germany and France are facing each other in a quarterfinal. That seems crazy, but I think a lot of these quarterfinal matchups are going to be awesome.
Yeah, as you said for the Canada versus England game, at first I had Canada. I thought they were going to really use their crowd to push them. They looked so bad in group stages. I was like, oh, this team could really get knocked out. But now that they advanced past their one knockout stage round, it'll be nice that they go out to the English. So it'll be really sad, not really, to watch them get eliminated by England. So, well, it was good, Canada. You had a nice run. Take it easy. At least you don't have that far to travel. Yeah, I'm not going to ride their bandwagon. All right, guys, let's get into the question section. Question and articles. The Norway bandwagon.
Nope.
People got so mad at that when I said it on Twitter. Oh, you guys are getting sick of your Norway bandwagon. Okay, so we got 2 questions for Tumblr. I have a few questions for today's show, and I would like to see y'all's opinion. You're from the South, aren't you? I like you already. What goal was the best goal you've seen so far this World Cup? We'll start with that one first. Let's see, who's the closest person to... Oh, yeah, Brazil. You're from Brazil, so you're the farthest south. What was the best goal you've seen this World Cup?
Lucy Bronze from England.
All right. I like you already. What was your best goal you've seen from this World Cup, Jackie?
Yeah, for me, it was Lucy Bronze because I think her team needed it the most, and I think she really instilled this kind of spirit that England were looking for, and it was a fantastic goal, and she doesn't usually shoot a lot, so I was pretty happy.
God save the Queen. Courtney, what was your...
I'm going to go with Amandine Henry from France, the goal she scored against Mexico, partially because I was at that game and it was amazing to watch in person, but that was just a screamer of a goal and was amazing. And you kind of like to see those goals more in closer games. I personally think they were already just kind of thrashing Mexico, but still an amazing goal nonetheless. So that takes it for me so far.
You should have chosen the England goal. Jennifer, what was your favorite goal?
I'm not changing just because everyone else said England so far.
Jennifer, what was your favorite English goal? Your favorite goal of the World Cup.
I'm probably the only one on this panel that's actually not an England fan, so we're not going to go there. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm going to have to go with one from the group stage. I'm going to go with Le Sommer's goal.
Yeah, that was a nice goal, actually.
It was on a free kick, but the way it was executed was beautifully done. So I think I'm going to have to go with that one.
All right. So I had a goal. I was going to go a Netherlands goal, but I've changed my mind. I'm changing it to a goal that I actually love. Karen Carney's header. Wasn't that the greatest goal you've seen in the World Cup? If only she would have did the dive from Robin Van Persie, Peter Pan header, as I like to call it, would have been even better. So Karen Carney's header is going to be my choice for World Cup goal because obviously someone here is a bit different than us, Jen Carl.
It happens.
It's okay.
Loyalties. We've been through this.
I know you're a loyal one. All right, let me see the other question. Let's see from our country friend. What is your other question? God, there's a couple of Tumblr questions. What did y'all think when Jill says she only controls the defense of the team? You want my opinion on that?
What?
What did y'all think when Jill Scott?
Jill
Sorry,
Scott.
I'm thinking England. I'm sorry. What did y'all think when Jill says she only controls the defense of the team? So we'll start with you, Courtney.
Well, listen, I never played soccer, so I don't really know how that works with coaches and assistant coaches and all that stuff. But I do think, like, ultimately you're the head coach and you have responsibility. From what I understand, like, it is a practice that, the head coach will give responsibilities to assistant coaches, either with, certain aspects of the team. And that's fine, but I think this come out and flat out say, oh, like, I don't have anything to do with that is a little bit much. Because even if that is someone else's, an assistant coach's delegated responsibility as the head coach, I think that, you still have responsibility over over the team as a whole, whether you are actually in charge of certain aspects or not directly, overall as the head coach. That's kind of like if you're, your supervisor at a job and like everyone has different responsibilities, you're still the overall supervisor. So, if someone's, doing well or not doing well, you still have a part in that. So, you still need to be checking up on the progress of each part of your team as a whole. So, to say kind of like, oh, I don't have anything to do with that is kind of odd, but I do also understand that, that a lot of teams do delegate responsibilities, but I do think as a head coach you still take ownership over, the team as a whole. That's your job as the head coach.
All right, Jackie, I'll let you answer this part of the question, and I'm going to ask you two. I'm going to ask you, Jen, and Aurelio the third part of their question. So what is your thoughts on that Jill only runs the defense when she said that?
I can believe it because all we do is play defense. We have no it wasn't surprising, but it is strange that she likes to kind of pick and choose, what to work on. And, I don't know. Ellis, I can't figure her out. I probably never will, so that's that.
You just got to hang out with her at a bar, and she'll, just pick her mind. Jen, how far do you see Canada and the USA going based on their performances? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Oh, thank you. We love you, too.
Yeah, whoever said that, love you. U.S., I picked the U.S. to go all the way. That's my prediction for them. Maybe that's just pure blind optimism. I don't know. But I picked them to go to the final. Canada, actually, sorry guys, I picked Canada to get knocked out this upcoming round. So I think I think they've looked too sloppy to move all the way forward. I say that kind of hypocritically, considering I'm talking about the U.S. going to the final. But Canada, to me, just doesn't. I don't see them going all the way. I think the home crowd can only push them so far. But I did pick the U.S. to go all the way because I'm still hoping that somewhere along the line they get their crap together.
Aurelio, how far do you see the USA and Canada going in this World Cup? And thank you for the question, viewer.
I think USA will end up in the semis, losing to France or Germany. And Canada, I don't know. They can either reach the semis and even go further to the final.
And I think this next question I'm going to ask you guys. Oh, yeah, let me answer that one real quick about it. Okay, so I had USA going to semifinals because they're going to run into one of the Giants. So I thought they'll be playing a third-place team. So either I have them playing against, I think, France, and then France will beat them and go to the final, and then the USA playing the third-place team. And then I have England getting in that third-place game. I think it's a Japan-France final, and then the third-place game is in USA versus England. and my heart is torn on that. So I don't want to get kicked out of the country. So I guess I'll say USA is going to win the third place game, and France, because my money's on it, is going to win the first place game. So you can see where my heart's at. All right, thank you for the question once again. Let's ask this one other question. We won't get to the other one. We'll answer it on the next week. I mean, the next show that's on Sunday. It's kind of like the first. Actually, these questions are kind of similar. Do you think playing people out of position will cause friction on the team? An example, press playing out of position over Hale. Yes, it's going to cause many fights. No, actually, we'll answer that seriously. We will start with you, Aurelio. What do you think about the players playing out of position? You think that's causing friction on the team?
No, not at all. They're professionals. There's no reason to be mad with each other because of that.
And let's go with you, Courtney. You think it's going to cause any friction, the players playing out?
I don't know that I would say it would like cause friction to a point where it would become an issue within the team. Like, I realize they're all professionals, but like, I definitely can understand that how it must be frustrating to know you are pretty much perfect to play a certain position, and yet players are getting played out of position ahead of you, where that's your natural position. So I see it almost as more having like a confidence effect on those players as opposed to having team friction, just because it's not, it's not the players who are getting put out of position. It's not necessarily their fault. They're not making those decisions. So I don't think it's causing an issue like between teammates, because they're not the ones like saying, I'm going to put myself on this out of position place today and you're not going to play. But I think it's more of a potentially could be like a personal confidence thing with the people who are getting kind of left out. But as far as actual friction, I wouldn't think so.
All right. Yep. I agree with you. I think they're professionals. It's not like Ellis or that they're choosing that. It's more so Ellis choosing the positions. You can't get mad at your other teammate for being in that position because they know they're all good. They know they're all good. You're top in the world if you're playing on a national team. It's just a matter of if you're going to pick them for that role. So if anything, they're probably mad at the coaching staff. I would think if they're going to have anyone they're going to have a beef with and not another player. I think they all get along fine and puppy dogs and happiness and all that good stuff. So thanks for the question, though. That is a good one. All right, guys, we're gonna talk about that article in a second real quick. We'll just skim over because it was basically everything we just said. Bad. But I'm going to talk about this. As you guys remember, there's this little jersey contest for this. Courtney, can you do your Oh My Goodness Alex Morgan jersey thing?
No, will not, but thanks for asking.
So anyway, Courtney played me. No, I'm joking. If you guys get a chance, just all you have to do on Twitter, just RT and follow. You'll be entered in this. I've already seen people pleading their case why they should win it. If you're on Facebook, just like our page. And as you can see, the whole freaking, what is that thing? Yeah, see, look. I haven't even tore this off, the tags off, so it's still good. It's still that new, people. Now let me get my grubby little hands off of it so it stays white. All right, I won't touch it anymore. It's all good. So just do that and you're entered to win the contest. If you make a comment about why you should win it, I might take that into consideration. Like how some people are saying their granddaughters and daughters will love it. So, yes, it's a female fit. So guys that are trying to get in the contest, sorry, but I'll send you something a second place. I'll send you like some boxers I'm not wearing anymore, a couple of holes in them or something.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't have anything else that fits you. I mean, that's not going to fit you. So, other than that, I'm saying,
Wow.
I guess we should say, right? What else can we say to these people? Like,
discard
stickers.
Oh, we're out of stickers. We're all out of stickers. They stickered me to death, those people. I said to them, they're in different parts. One is going to Peru, one is going to France, two to California, so we have no more stickers to give out. So, wow, sorry. All right, let's go over this article real quick. That was a good article. Jackie, since you're talking about stickers, I think a lot of people deserve a nice gold sticker for this article. Actually, it was more so they were telling a lot of truth. What did you think of the article, actually?
It was very interesting, and Michelle Akers, I thought, made some very good points. Ellis has been in charge, over a year now, and she's had this vision for the team, but no one knows what that vision is. So, it's been rough, but it can't all be on the players. They've been together for years, and all of a sudden she comes in and tries to change certain things and players and personnel, and it's just not working, and it's just not working for me.
Really, what were your thoughts on the article, real quick?
I think that everything that was said is true. I mean, good enough is not enough to win a World Cup. They need to improve.
Jen, thoughts on the article, real quick?
I think the one thing that stood out the most to me was toward the end of the article where it was talking about morale being down in the team. I think that's a huge piece of it right now. I think morale has definitely been lowered. I mean, we've all seen the sad Heyo meme. That's some low morale right there. So I definitely think that that's a huge chunk of it. And to look at us on paper, to look at Jill Ellis's record on paper, we've got, 26 wins, 9 draws, and 2 losses. So to look at us on paper, her record is great. But to look at the team, to those of us that have followed this team for years, there's definitely a disconnect. It's very visible. So I think the article was on point.
And Courtney, your thoughts on the article, real quick?
Can we link? We're going to link the article just so people, if people want to look at it. It's for people who don't know. It's Soccer Wire. This is the writer in me wanting to just shout out an awesome article.
Yeah, we'll retweet it and everything.
Great. So yeah, that's what the article was. I think it's spot on. I think that I really interested in what Michelle Akers had to say, just because I think sometimes people will say their opinion and will try to not sugarcoat it, but we'll put it in like a professional-ish way. Some people definitely don't mince words, and we appreciate that also. But Michelle Akers was so blunt.
I know, I liked it.
When she's been serious, and I appreciate that being included in the article. And I think that she's basically saying what a lot of us are thinking and either have said or haven't said for various reasons. So I definitely appreciate having that information in the article, as well as some of the other commentary from people from ESPN, the Jeff Carlisle, Grant Wall, Steve Goff, from their various publications. I agree with a lot of what is said, and I think those are people who have valid opinions and know what they're talking about. And I think it's just a lot of what all of us are thinking, and reading it, a lot of nodding our head and being like, yeah, exactly, yep, that's exactly what we're thinking. And I agree also that the bits about team morale and things like that were also really interesting to read.
The thing that I keep taking away from a lot of things I keep reading about this team is that everyone is being so blunt and so truthful. They're just telling exactly how it is, how fans, writers, analysts, everyone, they're telling exactly how it is, and it's just so amazing. It's like, well, attention now, but it's like people are they're catching it. It's like they caught the team at the worst possible time, and everyone's just being given blunt, honest opinions every time. When you see now, it's like no one's holding back, but they're all telling the truth, so no one's mad really. You might have those fans that watch and think everything is roses, but people are giving blunt, honest opinions, and I've actually loved it. Like you said, Akers, to me, that part was the best part reading it. I was like, oh, I agree 100%. So we're gonna retweet that article. We're gonna post it on Facebook. But right now, we're going to just wrap up the show. We're going to do our usual. Anyone else has any rants or anything to say? I kind of ranted a couple times this show, so I'm all good. You guys have anything you want to say, or is everyone good and solid?
Good to go.
Yeah.
Good to go.
I'm fine.
Time to do the roll, people. It's time to do the roll. Let's roll it down. Once again, this is another episode of Off the Post. If you guys don't mind, let's all wave to Sarah so she can feel better soon. Everyone wave to her. She's going through a rough time, so hopefully the best of luck from all our panelists to you. I'm your host, DJ Redcap Fred Durst. Hopefully we get someone else with a red cap to host the show one of these days. I think we're going to do something like that. Maybe like Courtney Redcap, Lily Allen, or Jackie Redcap. I don't know.
Lily Allen.
I don't know. It was a joke Karen said. She said that's what we'll do. Jackie Red Beret Lily Allen or something, or or then we got Jen Carl, not an England fan, will not get called Redcap. No, nonetheless, I'm your host, DJ. I'm sorry, really, I didn't give you one. We'll think of something next week. I'm your host, DJ Redcat Fred Durst. This is another episode of Off the Post. I hope you had fun. Tune in next time, and if you like what you saw, sub. If you didn't like what you seen, you should be looking somewhere else, looking for a new YouTube show. Bye-bye. We stay drunk.